What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Team Solemn Circus live duel. On the left side here, we have a Runick Chimera going up against the Sinful Spoils Fire King deck. This deck has been exploding everywhere, and it's only going to get better and better with the new support for both sides of the deck. Actually, we see that the Runick cards did not get hit, which is very good for the Runick cards being splashed in a bunch of decks everywhere here, which is why we're going to be seeing a lot of main deck bells, as well as the side deck bells. It's going to be the same thing. It has now entered the chat, with Labyrinth as well as Runick going to be flashing around. Fountain and the big welcomes are quite good. And then obviously we see Populous be coming out in the next set. Going to be making it so that the Fire King deck is a lot better, as well as the Sinful Spoil deck is going to be significantly better as well, which is a very crazy cards. Before we dive in, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, though. We're on the road to 5K. Hope you're hitting that before. We were past the new year now, so I guess we're just on the road to 5K here. Doing a big giveaway when that happens, but we're going to be seeing the player on the left, the Runick Chimera player, going to be starting off with a copy of Slumber here, attempting to special summon out that copy of Huggins, which can then activate effects discarding the Cornfield. That's going to be able to search them for a Fountain here. So maybe having multiple copies of the Quaddle in the hand here, or having simply access to like a Mirror Swords Knight from the hand, or having multiple copies of the Runick cards here. We are going to be seeing us activate the effect, the player on the right, activate the effect of the Kieran. I believe this is the first time that the Runick Chimera player has read any of these cards. They're going to be chaining the tip to this, therefore going to be making us banish the top one from the deck, hitting the Tenki, which is quite a good search, and I believe we're searching for the Freezing Curses here, which will be a form of spell, or I guess monster negate here from a one effect monster on the field. And then we're going to be seeing the effect, or we're going to be destroying the Ponix in the hand, and then we're going to be seeing the Garuda activate as well in the hand to be able to summon himself out and then destroy a card on or from the deck or the field or the graveyard, which we can then, I guess we're thinking about activating the Freezing Curses on this here, which we're going to see them activate. And then we do banish the top three. We hit a copy of Droll, Ponix, and then Veiler. Droll definitely should no longer be in the side or in the main deck. It should be 100% moved to the side deck. But if you have a little bit extra space, you can either play the Droll or the Nib here, and we'll see a draw 3 and into a Talents as well as 2 more Runick cards. This player is notorious for drawing Talents ever since the card came out. It has not left their main deck. They're going to see them Talents going to rip. We see a Wanted as well as a copy of the Diabellstar here. So putting back the Wanted, okay, I was going to say, they essentially both do the exact same thing, but, one of them is going to be an additional draw here. So putting back that Wanted, making sure that they cannot get it. And we do see them accidentally put their hand face up, but it does not matter. We're normal summoning out a Mirror Swords Knight. And then going for a copy of Big Wing, which will get them to search for the Gazelle as well as the Chimera Fusion. We can activate the Chimera Fusion to go for a copy here of the one that's going to be discarding a card from our hand. So getting rid of that Diabellstar as well, which is absolutely crazy. Getting rid of one of the cards and then being able to rip it during the end phase. Going a -2 is quite nice, especially if you hand trap them for a low impact hand trap. For us, we didn't really do very much. We will be getting the Ponix back, and we have established a bit of a board, which is quite a nice board here, but that does not matter when they super poly it away for a Mud Dragon, discarding that Flashing Fire from the hand here, and then we're going to be seeing them add back that copy of Chimera Fusion, being able to set it, which is quite nice, and being able to also have the Mirror Swords Knight tag out for a Big Wing during the follow-up turn, and then of course we will be seeing the hand getting ripped, which is a Diabellstar. We draw for turn. We do have a Ponix as well as a copy of what's his face of Garunix here in the grave, but we will be able to activate the Tenki, which is a amazing rip from the top of the deck. Being able to search for a copy of Arvada here, but it's still not going to be enough. A one monster negate's not going to do anything against the Runick cards and a Guardian Chimera that can be potentially even chain blocked. We're going to see the Mirror Swords Knight going to go for the Big Wing, and then we can activate the effects to be able to search for a, as well as having Mirror Swords Knight and the copy of Coatl in the graveyard, having a spell and trap or target negate, and then having the monster negate as well. We're just going to normal summon out the copy of the Arvada here, and this should just be, game for us. Like, we can't really do anything, especially with this normal summon. We have to find a way to get a monster destroyed, and there's no way to force out a negate. So this game is definitely the Runick Chimera players, unfortunately for us. But we're going to be activating, we're going to attack into the copy of Mud Dragon there. I believe we're actually at higher life, or at higher than the Mud Dragon because of the fact that Tenki's on the field. Mud Dragon is, maybe it's 19. I thought it was 16 personally. I'm going to have to check that, but if I remember correctly, Mud Dragon is 19, so I guess they will crash, and then we will get the effects. That's going to be able to summon out the Garunix, and then Arvada will summon out the copy of the Kieran here. So we are still going to be able to do a bit of destruction, I should say, but we saw the Garunix being negated by that Mirror Swords Knight, stopping the destruction from the deck. Definitely do not want Barong or a copy of Kieran going to be resolving, summoning out, and then popping. But we're going to be seeing them. Yeah, definitely important to read what the cards do. Like, if they do go Guardian Chimera, destroying them both, I suppose then we could summon out the Ponix. Ponix then search. We do get the Kieran, going to be able to destroy and summon back out the copy of Arvada. So they're going to be ordering their chain links here, searching for the Mirror Swords Knight. And then they do get to draw 2, drawing into a Super Poly, as well as, I think that was either I think it was a Freezing Curses. So they will be able to stop the copy of Ponix here. We're going to be seeing the Kieran going to be activating, summoning out the copy of Arvada, choosing not to even trigger the Ponix to summon out, interestingly enough. I think they're deciding here if they want to chain a Runick card to summon to protect the fountain, which you are going to be seeing them do that. Okay. I guess we're just, we have to destroy the copy of, going to be doing the fountain there. And choosing not to destroy or summon out the Ponix is kind of insane to me. They're going to be seeing them draw 2 more cards off of this Runick Fountain. So going already +4 this turn. Kind of disgusting, to be honest. Plus, Mirror Sword like going into Big Wing as a +1. Then +2 with the Big Wing. So this is already going +7 during their turn already. Or during my turn, I should say. Which is kind of disgusting. We also see them search for a Mirror Swords Knight. And then they also went and got the copy there. And we are going to be chaining the effect to negate the Gazelle with the Arvada here. Destroying the Ponix. I mean, if we're going to be destroying a card, we might as well destroy. If we're going to be negating something, we might as well destroy it, the Ponix, because we're not doing anything with it during our turn. We've already kind of triggered these. We've already missed all our triggers to be able to summon it out. So And then during standby, we get to add back. But we're thinking here. I mean, I don't see us having any really way of winning. They have a Chimera Fusion. Like, I can see their hand a little bit here. They have another Fountain. Chimera Fusion. Like, we're sitting on... Like, if they destroy Runick's first, then once Arvada gets destroyed, we'll be able to trigger something else. But we have, like, a Arvada negate. And then we're really on, like, minimalistic here. They don't have a battle phase, which is what's keeping us into this game. That's what's important to note with the Runick cards. Like, when you're playing against a Runick deck, a lot of the times, if you are not, like, going to be absolutely dying next turn, or if you still have some cards you can play with, it's worth just keep playing the game, especially in game one, where they can, like, maybe even burn through their, like, secondary resources, depending on what deck they're playing. Like, I know with the Chimera deck, they don't have, like, an infinite amount of resources. Their resources is very finite by, like, having 2 Guardian Chimeras, maybe 3 if they're kind of wild. Only so many Super Polys that they're playing it. Same with the branded cards. They only have so many Albazes in the deck. If they don't use their resources well to shuffle them back out, you do get quite into a problem. But they will be starting to banish all your stuff there, and then we just scoop it up, realizing that we do not have enough, especially once we see, I think we banished a Nib. I was playing not Call By, but Cross Out in this build at this point. I thought that, like, it was definitely a bit better than, like, I wasn't playing the Snake Eyes package, which I definitely should have, because that, the Flame Burge, as well as the Ash is absolutely crazy. I wanted it to not have to rely on my normal summon, because I wanted my normal summon to be like the Arvada, and not have it to have it to be the copy of Ponix by searching it off of the Ash. But, like, looking back, Flameburge is just able to do so much compared to, like, just the regular board. Like, it being able to summon back out both of them, get a Ponix once again during your follow-up turn, so if you don't destroy it or you have, like, multiple copies, it thins your deck out. Yeah, you're taking up 2 slots, but that 2 slots is fine. It's also a consistency card. And then Flame Wilge can also, like, if it does get interrupted, it can put back an Arvada in the graveyard. It can equip it to the spell and trap card zone and then summon it out during your opponent's turn. Or if you're playing against, like, a very good matchup, you can actually spell and trap another one of their cards that are really good, especially, like, even an SP, and then, take that SP during their turn as well. So there's multiple cards. Like, Flamberge is an insane card, or even a boss monster in sorts of ways, and, like, being able to add it back with the Sunlight Wolf and then discarding it or destroying it off the Kirin or an Arvada, and then getting your 2 summons once again, and then you can go into IP to go into, like, an Appaloosa. It's just 100% worth it at this point. But we're going to be going into game 2, going to be Diabell starring out a Veiler to put the Origins onto the field, activating it, going for a copy of the Ponix. Ponix will be able to search for the Sanctuary. Sanctuary is going to be able to put the copy of the field spell on the field, and we're going to be field spelling, destroying. And this is the very bare bones combo, without Ash, of course. Then Grunick will be able to trigger, summoning himself out. Activating the effects there, going to be destroying a Barong from the deck. Like, you guys definitely know this combo. It's just the non-optimal version now, unfortunately, because of the Flameburge. And then we're looking in the graveyard. We don't have a Wanted, so we can't really do any draws. We're going to set an additional card and then pass turn on this. And they do have Super Poly. Super Poly does crack this board. And they have Flashing Fire as well, which can destroy the Grunicks, which is kind of nice. But, I mean, if you do it at the wrong time, like, you definitely don't want to do Grunicks first, because then when you're able to destroy cards with Kirin, it'll then come back. We'll see those standby phase triggers of the Ponix add back, and then of course the Barong going to be adding. Most likely adding Rang Bali here. So already having that Kieran in the hand, this is going to be a spell and trap negate as well, which is very important. I have seen a lot of lists cut Ring Bali. I know in the budget version, it's definitely not what I'm doing. But we're going to see a special note of a Fenrir. And this is problematic for us because we already know that they have the copy of Flashing Fire in their hand. So if they end up like finding a way to destroy our card and then banish our Kieran and then not having it able to trigger, as well as just like Kieran versus Fenrir is already weak. But if our set card is a copy of Skyburn, we could flip that up right now, destroying the Fenrir. Therefore, they can't search a second copy of it. We're going to be chaining the Kieran right away. They're going to be Flashing Fire to summon. And then we're going to be destroying the copy of Phonix, summoning himself out. And then we're going to be seeing the effect of Fenrir going to be activating its effects and then chaining the Huggins, sending the Super Poly, and Fenrir is going to be targeting the copy of Sanctuary. We could chain Sanctuary to this because a special monster was summoned. But we are going to be doing that, and they're going to be chaining the Super Poly there, discarding the copy of the Gazelle and going for the Mud Dragon. What a shame for us. Holy. Now you get to search for the Fountain here because of the Hugin. And we now have zero way of triggering out the copy of Ring Bali from the hand. But what can you do when Super Poly just hits down? You know, there's not really much you can do. Super Poly is being played a lot more now, which is kind of why we're playing it in the budget version of the deck. It's a very good card. Luckily for us, they don't have a battle phase, so we are a little bit, we're a little bit not dead. We'll be able to add the Ponix during the standby phase. We can then normal summon the Ponix, search for a copy of the Skyburn, and then we can find a way to summon out the Ring Bali by destroying a card. But going for that SP is going to be quite problematic, especially if we don't have a copy of Skyburn. Then we're going to be seeing them banish the Ponix, making sure that we don't get to add that back during the standby phase. And they are on one card, which is a Runick card, so they will be getting that in multiple draws. And then, of course, they take a second to read the island here, which is going to be destroying the island. But we don't have any monsters, so that's fine. And then we get to banish our cards, and they get to put back 2 and draw. So, we are going to call by the grave. I don't even know why would we do that? A Hugin here, okay. Maybe so they can't protect it during the follow-up turn? They do have one more Runick card that they drew into. Origins can activate, putting to the bottom of the deck. I think it can activate, right? Let me see here. Yeah, you can bottom a Diabell Star to then be able to search for a Ponix. Okay, so we do still have the Ponix, but we do have to deal with an SP Little Knight. Then we activate a Tenki here, so we have Tenki, Ponix, Ring Bali. And then it's going to be searching for the Arvada. We don't have a way to special summon out Arvada, though. But there might be a world where you normal summon it out. then you destroyed the Ringbali. Ringbali doesn't get its effect because there's no effect to Reborn. Where do we normally know with the Ponix here? We have to activate the effect, searching for a Skyburn. SP is going to chain there. That's going to make us search most likely for a Sanctuary instead. We have to deal with a Fenrir still, as well as like one unknown. And we do see the Skyburn being banished already, so just going for a copy of the island here. Maybe already banishing all the sanctuaries. We're going to activate the island. Then we can destroy the copy of the Arvada in the hand, yeah. Which is then going to be searching us for a copy of Kieran, most likely. And we kind of have to search for Kieran at this point. Yeah, you definitely search for Kieran because Kieran can then help you dodge that Fenrir. You never search for Grunix. You already have a Grunix in the graveyard. We're then going to see a Grunix going to be activating its effects here, and then we're going to see the Arvada. And you cannot do two at once. Yeah, what are we doing here? I don't think Ringbali triggers on that because a monster wasn't destroyed on the field. I have to check that. That's crazy. If a face-up Fire King monsters you control. So yeah, we cannot activate Ringbali. There. It is unlike the Garunix. And you can also only summon out one at a time. So definitely could not do that. I mean, we could just essentially just have this minus the Garunic. Like, I don't know why we added Garunic. We should have added Kieran. We definitely should have added Kieran there. That's for sure. So yeah, Ringbali should be in the hand as well as the Kieran. We're going to see the Fenrir on the Ringbali. Like, if we had the Kieran in hand, we'd be able to destroy to dodge. Now we're just destroying the Kieran here from the deck, which could have been a Barong. Oh, we're only on one Barong at this point. So I suppose, yeah, we wouldn't even have been activating it. We're going to see them going to be summoning out a Huggins here. But that is negated by the Call by the Grave. Then we're going to summon out the Arvada and destroy. Like, this is such a bad spot for us because if we would have added the Kieran, we would have still had Ringbali in the hand, and then we could have been able to destroy like whatever they. So it would essentially be Garunix as well as the Kieran being summoned. Then they have the opportunity to activate the effect of Fenrir. Whatever they target, we just chain the copy of Kieran that we search in our hand, destroying whatever they target onto the field, and then we would have then been able to activate the effect of depending on if it was the Kieran that we destroyed or the Garunix that we destroyed, we would have been able to trigger theirs effect, as well as getting the effect of the Ringbali from the hand, summoning that out. So then we would have gotten rid of the Fenrir, destroying nothing or banishing nothing because we just chained our Kieran to it. We would have had our Kieran still summon back out the Arvada if we destroyed the Kieran on the field. We would have had another 24 body as well as the Ringbali onto the field. And then we would have been able to negate that copy of whatever we really wanted, I suppose. And we probably would have had game, to be honest. Because we would have had 24, 24. I mean, we wouldn't have had game, but we would have been in a lot better spot. Then we wouldn't have had a useless Garunix in the hand. We would have also been able to destroy a copy of Ponix, perhaps, as well, if we would have destroyed the copy of Kieran. So then we would have been able to reborn out the Kieran, and then we would have been able to search for the Ponix, or Ponix would have been able to add back. So having like an actually good negate off of the Arvada. And then they just scoop it up there because they're on 0 cards. But yeah, we definitely made a misplay there. You know, the Ring Bali could not have summoned it out on that one. It would have been able to summon it out on the next trigger if we would have played it correctly and searched for a Kieran over a Runick's. I'm not even sure why we searched that. There could have been a possibility that there was no more Kierans in the deck, but I very much doubt that. You know, we saw one in the grave. I don't remember seeing 2 of them get banished, but in that case, we should have just scooped it up. I guess we still played it wrong there anyways. But moving on to game 3, which is important. Yeah, definitely make sure that you know your Fire King plays. You cannot be doing the Ring Bali. You can only do 1 attempted summon per trigger, essentially what it is. Which is kind of bad, but whatever. You know, a bunch of the rules don't really work correctly, if you ask me. But move on into game 3. We will be seeing the Chimera player choosing to go first or second. They will have the power of the Runick cards going first, especially if you can put on a tip, or I guess especially if you can put on the fountain. And if you have tip as well, you're able to search for whatever you want, which just feels so free. And we do see a diving on into game 3 here. And time gets unfortunately called. And we're going to be seeing a tie there. But like they have... I mean, we have Droll. Yeah, they just go for that and then end up passing. But we do see time getting called, which is unfortunate. But we will be seeing a tie here from the deck. I don't know what would have really happened if we weren't for time, because Munnan wouldn't have been able to be summoned. Munnan wouldn't have been summoned. We have Droll and stuff like that as well, and Ash and Crow, but we only have Ponix as our engine cards, as well as like Cobble of the Grave, I should say. But regardless, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and see some more content like this. And stay safe. Peace.